Are we rolling? We're rolling? Okay, this is the drawing I did last hour. I did drawing number 1 on page 135. I did this drawing. It took about 14 minutes to do. I want to get through this one today and then possibly give you time to get started on your drawing as well. Okay? First of all, I taped this drawing just onto the front of a laptop computer because I didn't have enough big enough drawing area. You can use these little tape dots. They call these drafting dots. They're fairly expensive though, so you can do the same thing with masking tape. If you use masking tape, what you want to do is take the masking tape and put it either on the floor or on your jeans or something to take some of the stickiness out of it. If it's been stuck to something else first, it loses enough of its tackiness to where it does not rip your paper. So these drafting dots probably cost 5 times as much as masking tape, and they're about as sticky as masking tape after it has been stuck to something else like the floor, your shirt, your pants, whatever, not your neighbor's shirt, pants, or hair, or anything like that, please. Okay, starting out, I need one of those pink sheets that has the steps. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, thank you. Step number 1 is the border and the title block. Okay, this is found in the book around page 73. The border is just a 1/2 inch border all the way around your paper. 1/2 of an inch border. That is like a picture frame. If you ever looked at architect's drawings, that would show you what is entitled inside the drawing is everything inside that border. So what will save you a lot of time in drafting is if you take your ruler and you mark out as many measurements as you can at one time. Like I marked out 1/2 of an inch on all 4 sides. That right there saved me about 4 minutes. Okay? So I just did a 1/2 of an inch border, 1/2 of an inch from the edge of the paper. Normally you do everything really light until you're ready to put your finishing touches on it. Okay, for these drawings, for orthographic projection drawings, we're using the 45-degree triangle. On a triangle, all 3 angles of any triangle equal 180 degrees. So if you can add them up, this is a 45, this is a 45, so that equals 90, and then you can see the last angle, there's a right angle, so that's 90. Okay, the other type of triangle we use in drafting is called a 30-60. It's got a 30, a 60, and a 90. Okay, so that's the border. It's just like a picture frame around the drawing, 1/2 of an inch at all points between the edges of the paper. Now at the bottom, on this pink sheet, it gives you dimensions for the title block. The title block, it states, is 1/2 of an inch total with a line at 1/16 of an inch from the top and 1/16 from the bottom, and the rest of them are 1/8 of an inch. And that is for writing your lettering in, to write the information or the title of the drawing. Okay, so in there you would put your name, the date, what type of drawing it is, what you're drawing, like door stop. This one we're going to do today is like called the door stop. We're going to draw 3 views of this object, and if you've done it on the computer, you already know top's going to look like that, front's going to look like that, side's going to look like that. The key is centering it though. We want to get it centered on the page. We don't want to just throw it on there anywhere. We want it centered with 1 inch space between the views. Okay? So a shortcut or kind of a hint for doing your title block at the bottom, if you remember...
It's your phone.
My phone, yeah. It would be calling me during a demonstration. Okay? If you remember for that title block, I wrote on the bottom of the pink sheet where it has the dimensions on it. Remember, you can use the book, you can use this pink sheet. There's a poster up here that has all the drawings on it. There is a binder that has all of the drawings from 1 through 44, I think. Okay? A lot of different items to help you out. Okay? So now that I have that, I'm going to do my title block at the bottom. And these lines are as light as you can make them. The only purpose for these is to guide your letters so that they are not slanted or crooked. They should be very, very light, and the line on the top and the bottom are very dark. They're border lines. Okay, can you guys see that okay? Let me move over that way just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to do the centering box. Okay, if you look in your book, page 132, it has a statement in there, how to center a drawing on the sheet. Is that 132 where it says how to center the drawing on the sheet? And it has a bunch of dimensions listed. Really confusing. It's 131? Okay, 131, how to center the drawing on the sheet. If you look at all of those dimensions, here's what they're talking about, folks. They're just saying if you add all these up, if you add up the width of the front view, here, 5 inches, a 1-inch space between your views is standard parametrics, and the depth of the side view. That is 5 plus 1 is 6, plus another 1.5 inches is 7.5. So this box right here of my views is 7.5 inches across. You got that? 7.5 inches across. Our paper between the borders is 10 inches. So if we take the extra space, we have 2.5 extra inches. Do we want all extra 2.5 inches of space on here, on this side, or on this side, or do we want the same amount on each side? We want the same amount on each side. So 2.5, think of money. Half of 2.5, half of $2.50 is 1 1/4. Half of 2.5 inches is 1 1/4. So we come in 1 1/4 from this side, or 1 1/4, and 1 1/4 from this side. Okay? So I take my ruler, I line it up with a 0 mark, and I come in 1 1/4, and 1 1/4. And then on 131, where it goes through the centering, for centering it vertically, they're saying, hey, this object is 2.5 inches tall. This block is 2.5 inches tall. 1 inch space in between makes it 3.5, and then 1.5 inches depth for the top view gives us 5 inches. If we measure the space inside our border, we have 7 inches. 7 inches minus the 5 inches gives us 2 extra inches. So we want 1 inch of space on the bottom and 1 inch of space on the top. Now we draw that centering box, okay? Centering box goes from here, over. Centering box goes from here, over. And if you did any drawings on the computer yet, you know that they already did the centering box for you, okay? The centering box was done for you. The border was done for you. It was just to make it a little bit easier and speed things up a little bit. Okay? Centering box. Now, all I have to do is my 3 views of that inside the centering box, and we will be done. Side view, if you look at it here, it's 1.5 inches thick by 2.5 inches tall. If you don't know what drawing I'm doing, I believe if you look in your book on page 135, 136, it has drawings 1 through 6. We're doing the doorstop first. It tells us this object is 2.5 inches tall. 2.5 inches tall. I'm going from 5 back to 2.5. Half-inch space on the bottom. It is 5 inches long. 1.5 inches thick, from 7.5 back to 6. And a 1 inch space here. On that pink sheet, it says, step 3, complete the 2 given views inside the centering box. So we took the measurements of this block, what I call the doorstop, and now we're going to place them inside the centering box. So it is 5 inches long here. What I try to do is, I do as much as I can while I have my T-square lined up there. I do my top view here. Here's my top view. This is also the end of my front view. So I did both of those at the same time. Here, I just put a little mark there. That's my top view. Side view. Side view, I'm missing one line and a half of an inch up, and you'll start to see by looking at these blocks what represents what. Like if you look on the top, that line there represents where it starts to slope down at an angle. Okay? Top view, side view. Now I just have the front view left. Front view goes right there. Okay? I'm going, I have to complete here. Taylor, can you look in that closet right there and see if you can find the closest closet, see if you can find my GoPro camera? It's in a box, says GoPro, like a clear box. Okay, that is all there is. Top view, front view, side view. I'd like you to, the first few drawings you do are going to just be practice. Okay, so if you mess up, don't throw them away, just maybe make a note on there and say, this is what I messed up on. Top, this is the side view here. We use all capital letters. And this is the front view. I'd like you to label the dimensions. Like for instance, this is called the width. When I say label the dimensions, this is a 3-view drawing called an orthographic projection, but each view is only 2-dimensional. Like this view shows the width and the height. How are we doing on time there?
We're at 11:42.
Okay, I try to keep them under 15, so if I get close, let me know. I'm almost done here. This dimension is called the depth. Okay, and we generally draw dimension lines. They have arrowheads on them. You could do solid arrowheads. You put an extension line extending up from here. Extension line there. Okay. Remember the computer, when you hit dimension line, it does all those for you. This dimension here, I'm going to move it over to about here. That's called the height. I don't really agree with the way they label them, but they wrote the book on it, not me. So this one's called the height. Taylor, it could be right down here in this cabinet. I think it is down here with the DVDs and the CDs in the back of the bottom there. Okay, this is the height. Okay. Each view shows 2 dimensions. This view shows height and depth. This one, they each have at least one thing in common with the other views too. This one shows width and depth. Whatever the depth is here, 1.5 inches, it's the same on the top, 1.5 inches. Okay? You could do it that method for transferring the depth, or you could use the 45-degree triangle method, where you make a 45-degree line coming down there, bring that up. It works, same principle as an overhead projector. Got a 45-degree line on there. Okay? 2-dimensional, width and depth. 2-dimensional, width and height. If I were making a 3D drawing, 3-dimensional, Summerville, California. Cut.
Can we just press the thing?
Hello, go ahead and cut. Hello?